Hey everybody, Kenny Wisdom here, bringing you another Pokemon card of the day. And today we'll be talking about Expert Belt. So this one goes a little bit far back, so feel free to take a look at it on your screen. Basically what it does is you attach it, it's a tool, the Pokemon it's attached to gets 20 more HP and does 20 more damage to the active Pokemon. However, when that Pokemon is knocked out, your opponent takes one more prize card. And I wanted to highlight this card because something I've been talking about with a few friends lately is kind of cards with drawbacks. So, from a game design standpoint, you don't want to have too many cards with drawbacks because you want your cards to feel good to play, right? So, you would rather in some cases, some schools of thought would rather print a worse card than print a card like Expert Bolt that has an exact drawback. Because you say, oh man, like it's a feel bad card, right? It does damage to you. It makes you, or sorry, it doesn't do damage to you, but some cards might do damage to you. You know, it has a kind of obvious weakness. I think though that this kind of design might be better than just the kind of no drawbacks, but basically all the advantages cards that we have now. The analog to this in the current format is Muscle Band, and of course, Muscle Band doesn't add HP, but Pokemon in general have much more than 20 HP compared to what they did back then. So I just wanted to highlight this card to just talk a little bit about how I feel like something that would kind of bring a little bit of balance to the format, and something I do think they are doing, but something that I think would bring a little balance to the format is kind of printing cards that have a real cost to them. You know, one of the reasons that they banned Lysander's Trump card was just that, your resources didn't matter. You could play out all your resources, didn't matter, do whatever you want, and then buy them back with Trump card. And I feel like, banning Trump card was a big part of fixing that, but there's still things like Muscle Band and Laser, just these overtly powerful cards with no drawback, and I feel like maybe Muscle Band would just be unplayable if your opponent got an extra prize, but maybe you touch a Muscle Band and your opponent gets your Pokemon's statue gets less HP. Just something to kind of make it more of a decision when to play cards in your deck, and also when to play them onto the board. Because something with Expert Belt was, most decks didn't even run Expert Belt. A lot of decks ran one. Decks that were very aggressive, like Jump Pluff, would run multiples because they were relying on just being more powerful than your opponent and more explosive. But with Muscle Band, we see a three or four of in almost every deck, and I think that you don't want that. I think you kind of want to spread your cards around so that there are more good cards. There are more cards that are of equal power level. I would love to see it if we had, a lot of, maybe we had two or three different kind of damage enhancing or decreasing tools in the format that you really had to, be careful which ones you wanted to play in your deck and then which ones you want to play down at certain times. And I don't know. I like the game right now. I think the format's great. I've never been someone who's overly negative about it. Even in the trump card format, I thought trump card was broken, but I thought there were things you could do to work around it. And this format I think is really solid and really fun to play. I've never been a person who's been too down in it, but I do feel like I wish there were kind of more decisions to make. And not just in tools either. I'd love to see it in supporters, I think after the rotation things might change a little bit, but we're still going to have 4 Juniper/Sycamore in every deck, and we just have these overtly powerful cards and then everything else. And I think the game would be a little bit more fun if you had, a lot of just good cards instead of some great and a lot terrible. If you just had a lot of good cards and decks played out differently, because you can just expect the decks to play out a certain way now. You can expect, regardless of your opponent's deck, the game's just going to be a certain way. And I think that while that has always been true to a certain extent and is true in a lot of games, I think that there is something we can be done about that, and I think more designs like Expert Belt that give you a balance are the correct thing to do, even if, like I said before, a huge drawback isn't necessarily what you want to be. So, as you've seen, we're taking a look at an old card this week, or this today, on Card of the Day. We're going back and forth for the rest of this week, but please let me know which format you like in the comments. Do you like a random card? Do you like old competitive cards? Do you like bad cards? Do you like new competitive cards? Please let me know what you think. And also in the comments, let me know what your favorite Pokemon tool ever is. This is putting me on the spot, so I'm not sure. Expert Belt actually might be my favorite tool, although I'd probably have to think about that for a while. Anyway, let me know what yours is. I'd love to see all your comments. And my name is Kenny Wisdom, and this has been another Pokemon card of the day.